for this, I'll just have you throw, I don't know, 10 pitches or so, just enough to get loose. Don't do anything different, just throw how you throw, and then from there we'll kind of pick out a couple of items to work on. And we're going to do everything off a drop ball here. Gerald Muizelaar, USA men's national team pitching coach. I did a video earlier this year and had a lot of good response. And with that, drew some attention from some younger pitchers that have taken an interest in the game. So we're here in Denmark, Wisconsin at Circle Tap, starting to work with some of these guys that showed interest and just doing some follow-up work with them. Been good wide range. Some guys as young as 14 who've been pitching for 6 weeks. Up to guys who've been at it for 4, 5, 6 years, and a wide range of different things that we've been working on. So it's been good, and hopefully we can continue to do this and continue to grow the sport and continue to get more U.S. men's pitching talent in the pool. Okay. All right. So yeah, tell her, I don't know if you want to come in too. Obviously, you catch them a lot, then you can kind of watch for some stuff too. But just gonna tell them a couple pointers if you want to even come in and listen to it, so you can watch separately. I think a lot of really good things going on. I think that you get back pretty well. I think you've got good weight transfer. I think that your line towards home plate is pretty good. Sometimes you are a little inconsistent. I don't know if you see that even with your pitching marks. Sometimes you're planting here, sometimes you're kicking out over here. So some of that inconsistency is just with time. I'm a big fan of more of your lines going more towards home plate and less towards first. Some guys want to jump way out, and a couple of times your back leg was kicking way out, but for the most part I think you've got most of your power going towards home plate pretty well. I think that you get closed pretty well, although one thing that is maybe limiting you a little bit from getting to like a really good position here is you keep the glove in your ball and you sort of pause here, and what that does, if you think about it, is this is natural, shoulder square. This is not natural. Like, how do you keep the glove in your ball so you almost got to short arm this front arm? And if you get a little bit further up, I find that's easier. So if you're here, well, that feels weird. This feels a little more natural. So I like keeping the ball in your glove. Some guys would even keep it in their glove up over top. But just be careful if you're going to be down here. You almost better off lower early and then sort of rotate and get to this position and come out. If you're going to keep the ball in your glove, I'd rather have it a little bit higher up, kind of shoulders or almost head height. I think that'll allow that front shoulder to kind of get to a better position. Not major, but something minor to just think about, and that's playing with that glove position. But I do like the fact you're hesitating there. It gives your legs a chance to do a lot of good work before your arm comes through. Because if your arm comes through too quick, your legs are dragging behind. This gives you an opportunity to get your legs set. Also think you're doing a pretty good job of getting, so you're familiar with K position. I don't know if we've talked it before, but when you're getting to this point in your delivery, some guys really struggle with this back leg being back here, so you don't get any power out of it. There are a couple pitches where you were dragging behind a little bit, and those are the ones where I think your ball started to float up a little bit and didn't have as much snap. But when you had the really good downward rotation, ball at the knees, good velocity, you were getting more to this position. So this is, I think, what you want to key on, is consistently getting there. And then when you were coming through, I would say I would like to see a little more follow through. Sometimes you're short arming it, you'd stop, you just release the ball and stop, as opposed to following all the way through. So probably what I would actually focus on first is, let's just do a little bit with glove position to try and shoulders maybe closed a little bit earlier and stay closed a little bit longer. So whether it's going to be keep the ball in the glove here, to hesitate down here, or hesitate a little bit higher, I would like you to try hesitate a little bit higher and see what that does as far as getting your front shoulder in a little better position. But like I said, a lot of good things going on, but those are a couple of the minor things I see. And does that make sense? How this causes you to stay more square, this allows you to get rotated a little more?
Julio does that. He does this. Like if
Okay.
control pitch.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yep. Get your ball in the glove a little bit higher, because right now you hesitate somewhere around here, and I'd like to see you get a little bit higher up with that hesitation with the ball in your glove.
Yeah.
So everything else stay the same. Let's just try and get that, and I think that'll pull that front shoulder a little more to closed position. And don't worry about full speed. Like, it can just be 3/4 to kind of get familiar and comfortable with it a little bit. Yeah, I like that a little bit. Yeah, yeah. And you don't have to get like straight over your head, but yeah, kind of in this position, I think it'll get you to a little better position to follow through to the second half of your motion. Again, don't worry about velocity or location right now. It's just how do you get to that good closed position. So even without throwing to Tyler for a second, just start and then stop. Pause when you get to that position, and all right. Feel the difference there? Like you're kind of getting too much. And now do it the other way. Do it the way you were before. You were hesitating out front, and try and get to that same position without throwing the ball. See what I mean? Your arms get into a really weird position here, and the shoulder isn't getting to the same closed position. So the only way you can get there is to bring your arms over here and away from your body. That's where I think you get to here. You're going to be in a much more of a closed position, which is where you want to get to. So do that a couple more times, without throwing the ball.
No pressure, Willie.
So keep them up. Yep, right there. Yep. So, and kind of keep that weight on the back leg. There you go. All right. Now let's do that 5 more times, and to a place where you can keep your balance and you can get to that position and get all that weight on that back foot. Boom, and you can just, obviously you got to put your front foot down, but everything is on that back leg. Okay, so you're hesitating here, weight on that back leg. Okay. How strange does it feel? A little? Okay. Just give me 3 more of those, and then we'll see if we can turn it into a pitch. Okay? Okay, give me 1 more. gonna throw some pitches now. Don't worry if it goes in the woods or whatever, we can go run and get them. But right now it's all about how do you get, again, arms up a little bit higher, getting the good closed and getting that weight stacked in the back leg and then power through. If it's 75% speed, that's totally fine. Okay. And don't be anxious to just go back to get more velocity. Let's continue to stay with getting to this position. Okay. I think that looks good. I think it looks, you're getting to a better position up top for the second half of your motion. Okay, now turn it up a little bit more. Doesn't have to be 100%, but just a little bit more full speed. Does that feel different?
Yeah.
Okay, it looks better, but it still looks like it has decent snap.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, it feels better than like, because I can feel my back sometimes if I throw like a bad pitch.
Okay.
I can feel my back. I don't realize I'm doing now.
Yep. And I don't know for sure, but a lot of that probably is, you're trying to get to a position where you're able to utilize your legs better at the second half of your motion. So it's probably taking a little more of that back and arm motion out of your delivery and forcing a little more into your legs.
I would run a strike if it bounced.
Okay. All right, now let's go full speed and see how it feels doing at full speed. Okay, all right. So, I mean, I think that's just one thing to work on. Maybe we'll tuck that away, especially as you're playing this weekend. Obviously, you don't work on changing all these things in the middle of a game. These are things to take back home during the week and practice. So one other thing that I would like you is to focus on both at the beginning of your motion and the end of your motion is I think your balance is a little bit off. And so right now, sometimes it looks like you're almost trying to catch your balance, and if you don't have good balance on every pitch, I think that's going to lead to some of the inconsistency. And I think when we're noticing sometimes you're going more towards first base, sometimes a little more of a straight line, I think some of that is just when you're set up, you're a little bit off balance and not as consistent. Try and just widen, so not going back, but just taking that foot and sliding it a little bit to the side, so you're a little more this as opposed to this. This, I think you can get off balance. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but even just a couple inches will give you a lot better, more solid base, and I think it's going to be a more consistent delivery as well. And then when you're finishing, a lot of times you're falling over here like this, and I'd like to see more of on a drop you're finishing over that leg and you're not falling off to the side, but finishing in a real sort of strong balanced position. That's maybe secondary. I'd focus a little more on the first part of your motion. If you're set and I come and give you a little shove, you should not fall over. And that's going to be, I think, key to sort of a repeatable delivery. I got it. So when you get set, take an extra second, and again, balance. You want to go back as far to leverage your legs, but if you go back too far, you're going to get out of balance. So it's just kind of that happy medium between leveraging as much as you can, but having balance. So, I just go out to the side just a little bit more and get all that weight on this front foot. The more you come this way, I think the less balance you're going to have. Okay, that's fine. I think that looks better.
Wait, Cody.
Okay, does that feel any different?
Not really. It feels
Okay.
better though.
Yeah. And
Feel wobbly.
yep. And it's just minor, but if you're on the verge of falling over, even going 1 degree further to the left is going to have a big difference on when you come back to finish your pitch. Okay, so now let's focus on the end of your pitch, getting your weight over top of that front leg and finishing solid as opposed to falling over to the side. So, and part of that is the more you come and replant over here, the more of your second push is going this direction towards third base, the more your momentum is getting carried this direction. And that's why I think if you want to get everything going towards home plate, all that power is coming behind the ball, creating more velocity, more spin. And if you're falling that way, it's an indicator you've got probably too much of your finish is going towards third and you're losing some of that power coming towards home plate. What'd you feel?
My right foot came forward.
Yep, came right over the... Yeah, and it's not a huge problem, but I think what it's telling you is you've got more power that you're not utilizing right now, and it's forcing you that direction. So just over top of this front leg, and I'm fine with it coming up, but I don't want all of your body to be going towards sort of that third base side. Okay.
That's my main problem.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, at this age, that's your biggest, one of your biggest mechanical issues, you're doing pretty good, right? Like that's I think a minor thing. Some of the big stuff, like I said, it's right at the beginning, using your legs, getting a good motion going mostly towards home plate, getting in a good K position, getting stacked over that back leg. A lot of those things look really good, and I think you're in a good place. Again, having your arms a little higher up, I think, is getting you into a better position as opposed to hesitating down here. But a lot of it's just some of the balance things. And then as you continue to get taller and stronger and everything, you'll get more of a drive. But I would agree. Sort of some of the biggest things to work on is as you finishing over top of that front leg. Even try a couple pitches for me where you're stopping your stride. So you stride just as far or as high and as much power, but instead of gliding out all the way, drop that front foot in about 6 inches shorter than you normally do, and still the same amount of power. But that might, instead of falling over, may allow you to get up on top of that front leg a little bit more. So same power, drive just as hard. All you're doing is at the last second, dig those spikes in, just drop that left foot just a slight bit earlier and get your weight over the front leg. Okay, your weight was back still quite a bit there. Here you go. All right, really exaggerate this. Like, get to a point where you're just drive it in and really weight over that front foot. Everything short of rolling your ankle. Okay, what I feel like you're doing is you're just taking a shorter stride. You want the same drive, same power, just drop that front foot a little bit short and get the weight over top. A little better. And I know you're exaggerating a little bit, but sometimes that's what you got to do to get the feeling, but do that again. Just get over top of that front leg. Okay? All right, do the same thing, but stay solid at the end. Don't tip forward, but so 2 more. So actually what I want you to do, we're gonna go rise ball now. So throw a rise, and on a rise, glide out as far as you can, and we'll go back to drop, stop short and get your weight over the top, and just alternate those 2 pitches. We'll do about 3 of each. So rise, go up.
I do it better with my rise ball.
Well, you want the opposite.
You want it with your drop ball more?
You only want it with your drop ball. So rise ball, you want to be back. You want to glide out 6 inches further to keep your weight back. Drop ball, you want to get over that front leg, so you want to shorten your stride by 6 inches and get over top. Good. Okay, go rise ball again. Rise ball, glide out as far as you can. Okay, drop ball, get 6 inches short and get on top. I don't see if you're seeing anything different in the spins or anything, but
A little bit. I mean, looks like he's got good down rotation. The rise ball's got that.
yep.
Curve rise.
Yeah, probably more worried about the drop spin right now. I think there's some other things on the rise, but
Yeah, it's straight down.
good.
More flight.
Okay, one more rise and one more drop. Okay. All right. Yeah. Last thing I want you to just throw a few drop balls. Do the same thing, except instead of stopping your arm, I want you to exaggerate and come back over to this shoulder.
Okay.
So just drop balls, and we'll do the same thing. Get over that front leg, but follow through to your left shoulder.
You're trying to get him to drive his blade forward more versus out.
Yep. Better? All right, 2 more. 2 more. Focus on getting on top of that front foot. Follow through to your shoulder. Here you go. Okay, last one. All right. Actually, Tyler, come on, just so you can watch for some of these things too. I think, given that you're going to pitch tonight, let's just shut it down as far as throwing anymore. I don't want to wear you out. Yeah, like I said, I think a lot of really good things. think the first time I saw you throw was what, a year and a half ago in Elkland, almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And obviously you've thrown a lot since then. Obviously you're growing, getting bigger and stronger. But I think mechanics-wise, things are coming together really nicely. So if you're going to take away, 3 things, because you don't really want to work on more than 3 things at a time, what would your first thing be?
My foot.
My
hands.
Yeah, I would start with your hands, because your hands, I think it's sort of preventing where you're hesitating with your arms, is preventing that shoulder from getting closed a little bit more. So raising them, getting them a little bit higher so they're not down here, I think that's going to help you. And when you had a few that looked really good, a lot of those were sort of hesitating a little bit higher as opposed to down low here. So as a catcher watching that, I think, just sort of where's that shoulder and where are those arms, kind of keep an eye on that. Again, it's not drastic, but I think it's one thing that I would sort of point number 1 I would focus on for you. Number 2 is probably balance. Feel like sometimes you're quick, you're getting here, you're fast, you're in control. The game is not going to move without you. You control the pace. So get set, right? If it takes you an extra second to get your feet comfortable and get set, it's on you. But make sure you maybe widen your stance a little bit further, get nice and balanced so you're not falling, and I think that's going to give you a more consistent path to the plate. Because as I was saying right at the beginning, sometimes you're out here, sometimes you're here, and your replant marks are somewhat inconsistent. I know for myself, and when you look at a lot of the top pitchers in the game now, they're hitting the same spots every time, like within a couple inches of each other. Now, and at different spots, maybe different pitches, striding a little. So if you're seeing a lot of like a really big variation in where you're landing and stuff, probably a lot of it's starting with the beginning of your delivery and just balance and everything. So keep that in the back of your mind, just be really balanced, really consistent in hitting those spots. And then I'd say the last one, or the third one for you right now, is getting over top of that drop ball, probably shortening the stride, and instead of if you're falling off to third base, you probably are losing power coming towards home plate. And it's a little different rise ball versus drop ball, but in general, if you see him falling off, if you feel yourself falling off to the side, it means you're probably out here and driving that way more than driving this way, and getting that momentum to come over top of your front leg or getting underneath the ball on a rise ball. But that's what you want, and if you're falling off, you're not getting the most out of the sort of the second half of your delivery.
Falling off as he releases the ball and comes this way then?
Yeah, he's this.
Okay.
And this right foot almost steps in front of his left foot at the end, and his weight falls off to the third base side.
Gotcha.
And it's an easy thing to see, and I think you could feel it right away. And one time when you were working on it, as soon as you did it, very instantly, you're like, oh, you felt it and you knew it. So it's a clear indicator you're not getting the most out of your body, and it's falling off to third base, and you want to come behind and getting it all going towards home plate. But again, those are probably some more getting to be more advanced things that you're working on, as opposed to how to just get set and how to grip the ball and stuff. So it's good to see the progress over the last couple of years. Keep it up, but yeah, I probably don't want to work on more than 3 things at any one time. And again, don't work on those things in the game tonight. Just go back to what you've been doing, and then this is stuff to work on during the week in between games and stuff like that. But it's good where you're able to watch for it as well and sort of point some of it out. Good. Questions all make sense. Understand not only what we're looking for, but why.
First one. So first one's hands. Ones after that were just sort of
Balance.
balance.
So it's, and hands is not the thing. Hands is really just a trigger to get him to get that shoulder closed a little bit more, because I feel like by hesitating here, he's staying more square and not getting rotated as much. So it's getting rotated is really what you're asking for, but I think getting hands and sort of hand and glove to this point is going to help get that shoulder closed a little bit better. And then 2 is sort of balance, and just not being in so much of a hurry, just getting really balanced and really solid base at the beginning. And then the 3rd is falling off to third. And those aren't in any particular order. 1 is probably the most important. 2, 3 are just both sort of equal. Yeah, but overall it looks good. I'll be around this evening and stuff. Obviously during our games I'll be on the bench, but otherwise I'll be around if you have questions. I'm also sticking around after the final tomorrow, so I'll be around for a couple of hours after the final. If you want to talk pitch specific stuff, but I don't really want to see you throwing more today, given you're going to throw tonight. I don't want you to throw another 20 or 30 pitches and tire yourself out. So yeah, but feel free to catch me and get questions or things that we didn't cover. Happy to walk through them. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that came in a couple years. No, that I would say out of all the pitchers in my sort of my era, I probably struggle the most going to 2 feet. A lot of guys. So ISC, I'd say would pitch a lot better. As soon as we went ISF and had to go 2 feet, or even Canadian Nationals was 2 feet, I struggled more. I think I relied on my legs more than most.
Well, they let it get so lax for so long. I'd watch these other pitchers would be 6 inches behind the mound, but it'd be just here. I'm like,
yeah,
it's not towing up.
yeah.
But cheat a little bit, right? Every time.
Yeah, I think the last event was my last event where it was 2 feet on the rubber, and then they freed it up after that.
So what was your last? Was it 13 or 15?
15 Pan Ams and 15 ISFs.
Yeah.
But maybe I was part of the problem. Maybe they're sick of dealing with me, that they have to say, just let them go. I think it's good. I honestly think it's good for the game. I think you're going to see the women's game go more that direction. Mm-hmm. And I think it's counterintuitive when it's 2 feet on, you're trying to tell pitchers, use your legs. Oh, but by the way, you got to start like this, and you can't, and you got to get on your toe. You can't drive with your legs. Yeah, so then you end up seeing a lot more arm motion. Whereas I think with this rule, you're freeing pitchers up to use their legs more.
Yep.
I honestly believe you're going to see less injury, less stress and stuff on kids' arms. So I think it's a good thing.
I agree with that 100%. I was happy to see it go.
Yep. The only problem is right now it's only at the WBSC level, and it's not. Although I think NCAA is moving that direction. I thought I heard so.
So what is it like? Our Minnesota high school stuff, they were allowing the girls to step back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then go into their stride. No hopping yet.
Yeah. But it's going to take some time. Yeah. It'll take some time to sort of filter through everything if it does. But I just think it's easier to officiate. It's easier to be consistent, and that's what you're looking for. And I think it's better for the athletes too. It'll I think get them better mechanics and less injury and everything. So.
They're moving in the right direction, that's for sure.
Yep. All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching, and we hope you found this video helpful. Now, it's up to you to get this video in the hands of as many new pitchers as possible, and breathe some new life into this game we all love.